Just go.
I'm gonna sit up more.
Do what?
I feel very uncomfortable. And door truck. Alright, troops. We're all stay man. And we're going in here to Bajocks.
You're like a fucking shit radio DJ or something. You know, like way
Yeah,
back.
exactly. Yeah, when they're like
pirate
muting.
radio.
Yeah. And be like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we have She Bangs by Ricky Martin. This is going out to Michael. He's out there in Foresight. And he would like to tell you that Michelle, he slept with your sister.
Why are you being Scottish? Will you stop?
All right, so today, ladies and gentlemen, it's a fucking tune and all. All right, so hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Colin Andrew. With me here today is
Barry O'Connell.
Barry.
Barry.
There's a silent at the start of his name.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know that. Today, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, hello, how are you? We are in Dingle, County Kerry.
Up Dingleby.
Up Dingle, up Riding. So we decided, because we were here gigging, we're doing a whole weekend of gigs here at the Dingle pub. Right now we're sat in a lovely room in the accommodation above the Dingle pub.
Sure, we're only spoiled. It's lovely.
We're very much spoiled this weekend, yeah, and we're having a luxurious time. So we decided that we had a lot of time during the day before our gig start, and we don't like to waste time. We like to be productive. So we decided to do a podcast on the production of Colin Andrew EP, which came out in July of 2023, which is in fact this year.
Yeah.
How does that feel to you, Barry?
Do you mean like it being?
I don't know.
That's such an open-ended question.
How do you feel, man? How do you feel?
I feel all right about it. I mean, it is crazy that it's already, nearly how old is that? July. So fucking where are we now? We're in November. No, we're not yet. October.
We're in October, yeah.
Yeah.
So like 3 months old.
Wow.
Nice. She'd be taking her first steps right now.
She's got an old quarter on her.
Huh?
You know, quarter of a year.
Oh. Oh yeah, exactly. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I think we'll start from the start. Barry is the producer of this EP. Barry's the producer of all my music, but he certainly is the producer of this EP. And it's a 5-track EP.
And it had a fair process to it because when did it start? It started was it just after the lockdown started?
I would say, yeah, we probably began production just after lockdown, yes.
Yeah, because you were in Orlando at the time in Raglan Road doing Irish shows.
Yeah, well, yeah, I came back in March of 2020, yeah.
Yeah, and you moved to Edinburgh because you had some songs that you wanted to work on, and then eventually when we were able to actually fucking see people again, it was such a dose. Actually, that's what happened. You were told that you had to go home because it was like when the pandemic was about to hit.
Yeah.
And then you came back and you moved to Scotland so we could start working on your EP, and then the lockdown started.
Yes. So the second one. So I moved back to Kerry in December and then stayed there until May. And then I believe we began production almost straight away, but I can't remember what we actually started on first, because there's 5 tracks, for example, on this EP. Send Me On My Way, Fall Size, Make You Know, Jurassic, Sleeping On My Dreams. 3 out of the 5 were definitely written, I think, during that lockdown, during December to May of 21. So we wouldn't have began production until I came back.
Yeah.
But Jurassic was done from like 6 years previous to that. So I'm wondering, when did we begin demoing that when we were doing the likes of Loving You in Vain and Too Far From Kind, the predecessors to this EP?
Which track are you talking about? Jurassic?
Jurassic, yeah.
No, because it took some convincing to get you to do Jurassic.
So that would have been one of the last things to go
Jurassic
on
was
to
one of
this
the last
EP.
ones because we had built up the whole EP, and you had Jurassic on your SoundCloud at the time, and I was like, I really think you should bring it back, and I actually think it suits the tone of this EP.
Yeah.
And then like we added in at the end, but I think some of the first tracks that we started on were definitely Fall Size was done.
Yes.
Sleeping on My Dreams and Make You Know was kind of like you were kind of half in and out, and Make You Know you were kind of looking at how we were going to arrange it. And Send Me On My Way you showed me, and I was like, that's definitely the opening track anyway.
Yeah.
So I think it was kind of like Send Me On My Way and Jurassic were like the last ones because we wanted to get the tone of the EP, because then Send Me On My Way was like we were going to like, you know, set the precipice with that.
Yeah.
And then get into it.
Exactly. We kind of, once we had a track order, then we kind of began, I think. Well, a rough track order.
Yeah, and then we demoed them.
Yeah.
And started kind of coming up with ideas and finding sounds like we usually do, and kind of arranging it and cutting out sections and making sure that they were, you know, everything that was in it needed to be there.
Yes.
That like actually
Getting
supported the song and everything.
Getting your 10%, as it were.
Yeah, well, yeah, but also just, you know, making sure that we were like staying true to the songs.
That's the one. Yeah.
Because that's genuinely what I care about. I do like getting paid, but I also want the songs to be good.
Exactly. He's not about the paper. He's about the music, man. But you know what I realized? That I started writing Fall Size actually ages ago. I think I wrote
Oh yeah, didn't you have like
the chorus?
Yeah.
Because I took it from another song. Or like, it actually wasn't like the chords were the same for the verse, but I rewrote the verses a couple of times.
Yeah.
And then I wrote the bridge later. I wrote the verses in my ex's front room when I was stuck there. Not stuck there. They very nicely let me stay in their home for like a couple of weeks when we first came back, because obviously we were literally like booted out of America, and so I couldn't even make my way down to Kerry to like my parents' house. So I was like in Dublin in their house, and I wrote the verses for Fall Size there.
Yeah.
In their little dance studio, which was kind of funny when you think about it. But the chorus to Fall Size actually had nothing to do with what I was writing about in the verses, but the theme actually was the same, so it just kind of like fit in, because I think a lot of the lyrics on this EP, they're either extremely vague or extremely specific, you know, which is quite funny.
Yeah. Well, I do remember that, because I remember getting the demo to, you know, the song before Fall Size. So like the whatever it was, you had sent me a demo of a song, and then when you sent me Fall Size, I was like, oh, is that like the same like chord progression as the one that you had before? And you're like, yeah, I just changed the verses and made a new chorus or whatever. And I was like, oh, cool, that sounds great. Yeah, you kind of like found it and put it all together, which was lovely.
And thanks very much. Sure, look, that's how these things come together sometimes, isn't it? And so Fall Size was the first. It was not. Sleeping on My Dream was the first single. No, Fall Size was the first single.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Sleeping on My
and then
Dreams was the
Sleeping on My
follow.
Dreams came later. Yeah.
Yeah.
When did we actually put out Fall Size? Anyway, I should have done some research before we started this fucking
This is
podcast.
all very like hi. Yeah. Well, we're not even looking at the camera.
Yeah, we should actually, shouldn't we? Does it?
There's a camera for anyone who's just listening.
Yeah.
But we kind of like, well, it's just because I landed on. We were like, basically, like it's Jazz Weekend at the moment as well in Cork City, and I flew back to play in Jazz Weekend, one gig on my own and one with the lovely Rosie Byrne.
Hi, Rosie.
Hi, Rosie. And yeah, and I went and stayed a night with her lovely partner Graham and her daughter Lily.
Hi, Graham.
And Lily.
Hi,
Hello, you lovely people.
That's cute.
And yeah, then basically Colin was gigging up in Dingle, and the lovely Craig McMorrow was meant to originally be doing it.
Cunt. I'm only joking. Love you, Craig.
And he dropped out, so I hopped on that very quickly.
Good lad.
But yeah, when I was coming up, Colin was like, "Oh, will we do an old pod on
the
EP?"
production,
Because we used to do like on Colin's first few releases, we did a thing called Saturday Production
Facts
SPF. So we were like, we'll do one on the EP, and then who knows? There's a potential of us kind of spiraling off into just looking on production on different bits and pieces, but we'll see how we go.
You're really giving them the whole back story of
Yeah,
all our last conversations from the last week.
Yeah.
Let's just break everything down. What
break it
other
down.
shit were we talking?
No,
We got to get into the meat and potatoes, all right?
Let's do it. Right, well, fucking throw some stuff at me.
Yeah, so we're going to start from the start of the EP and we're going to go straight from Send Me On My Way, which is the first track off Colin Andrew EP 2023, 5 songs. Yeah. That's quite enough of that. That's a fantastic soundscape, Barry. Will you
Thanks very much.
describe, because that's all your creation really, like we had the song sorted and then it was like we're gonna put a little intro because we're like the song is really short.
Yeah.
It's just verse chorus and then like an outro thing, so we're like that seems like a really good song that builds the whole way. It's just a fucking literal like a slide in reverse. Does that make sense?
A slide in
It's
reverse.
a slope. Like,
Sorry, I'm messing with your gate on your mic at the moment because your dynamics are changing dramatically.
Sorry, I'm
grand.
trying to be intimate. Barry's always at the tech stuff.
That's me.
He's doing gates here in the middle of a live podcast. It's unbelievable.
I'm just trying to make it sound decent.
I'm sure it sounds lovely. But tell us, yeah. So it was a short song. So we were like, okay, we need to like a build into the fucking bottom of the slope. So this is the preamble before the bottom of the mountain. How did you come up with this soundscape?
Talk some muck. No, I get what you're saying though, but because it was, I remember, I like just before I explained like going into the soundscape process, I remember when you showed me this track, and I was like, oh yeah, it's pure like an opening track, and you're like, no, but it's like a song, and I was like, yeah, but like it's like an opening song,
Yeah.
you know, like it's because it was like 2.5 minutes, and I was like, that's like 1975-esque, like, you know, you have that kind of wide cool thing, and it is a song, but you know what I mean. That's how you sell Colin on anything. You just say 1975.
And I'm like, yeah,
I'm
sounds
in.
class.
But no, but genuinely it was great, and the whole kind of point of this is that like, you know, you start off and it's kind of not a theory, like, but like, I don't know.
It is in a sense, yeah,
you
absolutely.
feel like you're in like an ambient space, and then you kind of build in, and then Colin kind of just comes out of the
blue,
the fog.
The fog. Well, isn't that sort of like the way we always talked about it whenever we do a soundscape intro to anything?
Yeah.
The idea is to be like, it's sort of like, in a sense, like a big bang, and it's like a load of just fucking like shapes and colors and whatever else, and it's sort of creating an image. And then by the time you get into a verse, the picture has sharpened. It's like, you know, you're tuning in a TV or like tuning an orchestra or whatever, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about the opening Send Me On My Way, since it is quite like an emotive track, I just wanted to make sure that like, you know, you're kind of building some sort of tension, because there's some nice kind of, especially in those like swells and stuff, there's a lot of kind of, there's like sus chords going on, and there's like some nice extensions, and you know, kind of just not giving away the kind of the like kind of tonality of the chord immediately. Like you're like, sometimes you're like, is that major or minor? What is what's going on here?
Yeah. The old dadgad
esque
ambiguity.
But yeah, so basically it's actually because it was cool. There was this soundscape was built up between like fucking 2 or 3 countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I started it with when we were in like my like bedroom studio, and we were like playing around with synth sounds and like Logic and Syntronic and all that kind of crap from UK Multimedia. Give me a sponsor there, will you? And
exactly.
And then we had the sessions where we went back to record drums and acoustic guitars in Cork. And with our lovely Eduardo Morar, fucking phenomenal engineer, musician, producer, everything. And very patient with us through multiple processes. But yeah, so we had like we went to my kitchen, I think, in Cork, in my mum's kitchen.
Yeah, there was definitely some like, what are we gonna do with this crack?
And I put like a MIDI controller in front of him, like a MIDI keyboard, and loaded up some samples, and he started playing some stuff as well. And then I kind of layered our mixed things, and yeah, then Send Me On My Way kind of got put in the back burner for quite a while.
That was. I feel like the process for this track was kind of unique in
Had
general.
to like ferment.
Yeah, yeah, because like I did the demo, like I did the vocal and the guitar, and Eduardo did the drums at the end, and we did bass over that. But like that's all we had in terms of an arrangement. So
Yeah.
it was like very much like, Barry, you're gonna go and do that or finish that at the very end. That was like the last thing we finished.
It was the very end of the project because we had got like we were saying earlier, we just got through the whole EP, and then I was like, right, I know what this needs to be now.
Yeah.
And that's when like the kind of strings and stuff started coming in, and I found like that was actually just a sample that I got from Splice.
Yeah.
Because I was just looking for the kind of setup to the one chord to like, you know, just to have a lot of tension, and then your guitar resolves it as you come in.
Yeah. Where did you get the synth thing? By the way, can I also, and I should have prefaced this, listen to the fucking EP first before you listen to this podcast. Because if you're like, oh, I don't know what they're talking about, you should have listened to the fucking thing anyway. So go and listen to the EP, and then you'll know what we're talking about.
In a less aggressive sense, it actually is.
No, fuck you all. Look at the streams on this thing.
I know,
That's catastrophic.
It is pretty bad.
That's hours. That's days and years of our lives. Anyway, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm only joking, but
Also, only 3 of the tracks out of the 5 display actual plays.
yeah, because the rest are.
I'm surprised. Make You Know is like a little gem.
Well,
Like-
you know, that's what the industry says is just don't do EPs, and sure, that's how we learnt our lesson. And like, do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, to be fair, with your first set of songs, it was meant to be an EP, but we broke it up.
Yeah, and now we've all singles, but anyway, look, they're all gonna blow through the roof
At some stage.
ASAP. Rocky.
But yeah, Send Me On My Way was like an interesting one. There was like it was kind of like we kind of had it at the start, and then we left it for a bit, and then it kind of propped its head out in the middle, and then we left it until the very end, and it was just like the kind of final sign off on the whole kind of production process in the CP.
Yeah, it was a mad one actually. Like that was unique for us. I think even that was the full handover of trust.
Yeah. I was
Here-
like, thanks, thank you.
Trust. Nice. That in fairness, like a lot of the details I feel like were added in by you, especially like this one as well. Not really much backing vocals, you know. That's our signature now. A part of your production is very much a backing vocal.
Oh, I
heavy.
do remember.
There are some in the outro. Where we're just like, no, keep it minimal, and guitars and synths and stuff like that. But the soundscape is beautiful.
You were saying it to me, like, because you're like, are we not going to put in more backing vocals to this? And I was kind of like, I think that your voice should be the like main prominent thing, because it's the opening of your EP, like, so it should just be you. And we did have some backing vocals and that like kind of build chorus thing at the end. Well, not even chorus, like the refrain or whatever it is.
Yeah,
and it was lovely. But yeah, your voice is like the thing.
Yeah, it was kind of like the idea being like, if you were doing like Stop Making Sense, like it would be like it's like David Byrne jumps on with a guitar at the start, you know?
Yeah.
And just like keep it simple. And then obviously we've got some like nice guitar arrangements underneath.
You'll make it come true.
Why have you not listened to that? Like, it's so long.
Forget I ever knew what it felt like
about the
to be
guitars.
sleeping next to you.
Oh man, that brings me back, because that was
Give me something I can hang on to.
give it an old pause for a second.
More
Sorry.
That's when I had like moved into like the room that is now Studio 42 in Edinburgh Haymarket.
Shout
So
out.
if you're looking for
Follow
some
Studio 42 on Instagram.
some lovely production, get on to either me or Cathal Murphy, and
Yes,
we'll
sir.
sort you out. But so I'd moved into that room, and it was like there was a load of stuff going on. I can't remember. There was your gigs. Some of your gigs were coming up, and there was other stuff going on and other projects I was working on. And I was like, I need to fucking get this track done, because we're like very close to the end, and I just need to sit. So I went in like and did like a late night session. So it was just me sitting in that room with, I think I was playing the Gibson like the 1981 335 that I have.
She a beaut.
She's lovely, like, because I had built everything up and I was like, I don't know, there's a texture that could help here, and I'm like, I think it is just as simple as like guitar layers.
Yeah.
So I just like fucking started stacking all these guitars on top, and it just ended up working out quite nicely.
Yeah,
And I added some more synths as well.
always the synths. There's definitely a few.
More than just words to say.
The little
Falling
building up
forever
guitars. There's a
behind
few.
you. So send me on my way.
Here comes Eduardo.
Oh, feeling so alone. Oh, I'll never be your home
Army,
again.
welcome to the show. There was a few like layers actually in that. I remember that like hit the fucking cutting room floor. Like, remember there was that little arpeggio, or there was a little like muted guitar thing that
Oh yeah,
very regal army fucking thing.
yeah. And there was like a panned guitar thing that was there as well, that would like go from ear to ear, and it was just messy. I mean, you got to try stuff out though. There was tons of stuff that got cut, and loads of the tracks in the CP.
Yeah, like we were actually in sort of pre-production for a long time.
Yeah.
But eventually you find the stuff that fits it all, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, and do you know that like there was I had a chat with Eduardo at one stage, and like that was really kind of
don't do that.
what?
Don't talk to Eduardo.
I always talk to Eduardo. I know I had a chat and I came up
I
with a
love you,
group
Ed.
chat as well, and like, you know, he was just like, there's loads of good ideas there, and it was kind of like in the sense of like that doesn't necessarily mean they all have to be there.
Yeah,
Which is so true. And
True, yeah.
like, you know, I think because we were both so deep in the project, I just needed someone to say it to me again, just to kind of remind me to pull back and have more of a kind of objective perspective on what we were doing. And that really helped then for the rest of it, because I went through like all of them and was like, these are nice, but that's not necessary, that's in the way, whatever. And it just kind of gave this really important space for every track to kind of
Yeah.
you know, have its own character.
I think we kind of needed that anyway, because it was very much like just the two of us listening to the stuff the whole
we've
time.
been listening, man. Like we were doing this for about a year and a half or 2 years, like
Yeah, fuck's sake.
on and off, because of like loads of varying factors, like the pandemic and like trying to get, like when gigs came back, we were trying to get back into like full-time work and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so glad it was all worth it in the end.
Yeah. It was. I'm still.
Yeah,
I
of
might
course
not
it was.
necessarily have a load of listens yet, but I'm still really proud of
Not
it.
bad.
You know.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like,
And like it's great because the live show sounds cool now as well.
well, and it's not about who the fuck listens to it anyway, to be honest with you. We want you to listen to it loads, but also like it's about making art, and that's why we do what we do.
but listen to it though, please.
But also listen to it. This is the next track off the EP. It's called Fall Size. You're going to hear a very big old intro and featuring some
Classic BBs.
classic BBs and some brass from one Dylan Howe.
Yeah, go
On
on, just play
radio,
it. Just fucking
Colin
play it.
Andrew.
It's class. Man, what an absolute gem of a human.
Dylan, unbelievable.
We sent him a message going, can we just get you to do one line, because we had a thing that we
just
needed.
one sax line, yeah.
He sent back a full brass arrangement
Yeah.
of like trumpets and saxes, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then like we dropped it in because we were like, oh, this is actually a lot of stuff, so maybe we'll like, you know, we'll kind of tailor it and cut it. But we dropped it in, we pressed play, and we were just like, that's unbelievable.
That's insane.
So
I
there
think
was
there was so much. I think we took out one part because there was like, he literally like gave everything like that we could possibly need. You know what I mean?
But
It
like,
was really
if anything,
unbelievable.
there was very little taken, because it was
Yes, sorry, Dylan.
It was
Yes,
just-
we used everything.
it was
though.
very tasteful, and it was just everything in the right place, the right moment. Like
Yeah, but he's just fucking phenomenally musical. Like, but yeah, just fucking layers on layers, like a literal 4-part brass section for the whole track. And I was like, "Will you play one? We think one line would be kind of cool there in the middle, like, you know." And he comes back just with the fucking kitchen sink, like so. And somebody had the nerve to say, "Oh, why didn't you get a real sax player?" And I was livid.
who said that?
I will not. They shall not be named.
Do I know them?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Give me a second there now.
No,
you're gonna
I'm not going to pause it.
what? I'm not going to pause it either.
I know. I actually, because I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, I thought Craig said something to me about no, and it might have been even Meg, my beloved.
Your beloved.
I don't want to say. I don't want to
Craig.
say it. I don't want to say it now because.
no, it wasn't great. We'll talk about that in a minute. I think because I think I know who you're talking about now. That is funny though, like full on, like actual real brass and woodwind, and it's just like no.
Yeah, and I think maybe they just heard the first line and were like, "Oh, is that synth?" And I was just like, "How dare you?" You know, because I had to be jumping to conclusions there sometimes. But this song I really was like enjoyed putting together a lot, and I thought it was lively as fuck. And I always was like I was saying earlier, had that chorus for a good while. And I think I wrote this chorus, I think even it could have been like 2018, even maybe 2017. I remember it was around my birthday of that year.
Yeah.
Because I wrote it about a specific person for a specific reason, and I'll never tell anyone who or why. But you'll know.
I know.
You'll know. You'll know. No, you actually won't know.
Zoom camera into
No, you actually won't know.
No,
But yes, I really enjoyed putting together this song for many reasons. Obviously, the brass was kind of thrown in towards the end, and it was like, Jesus Christ, this is fucking class.
yeah.
But yeah, like classic Barry BVs at the start as well, like, you know, with the fucking glissy slidey up to it.
Yeah.
If you did Leaving Cert Music, you'll have heard of glissando. When you listen to Bohemian Rhapsody, and it was like the bass glisses.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, John.
And then on every Colin Andrews song, the Barry glisses.
The Barry glisses. See him glistening in the sun.
Yeah.
Fault Size, was the first single from the EP. Any other interesting things from that? Do you remember?
Yeah, man. There was.
Oof.
There's
Tidy old drums from Eduardo actually there.
As always.
Peppery foot. Listen to that.
Do you know how you could listen to that? By listening to the EP. If you want to get the full punch out of that kick, listen to it.
Are we allowed to say where we recorded the drums?
What? No, I'll leave that away.
No, the thing about the lyrics now, some of them are like clunky on purpose. I don't know if y'all realized that I did that on purpose. But it was kind of like, it very much was an exercise of like, just fucking write it out as it comes out. Don't try and make it sound clever or whatever way. Like, just, I was listening to a lot of like Dodie at the time, and she puts everything very like sort of plainly, you know. And I was enjoying that. Just at my heart, I'm a teenage girl singer songwriter, I think. Or at least I was when I wrote these songs, which was very much like absolute fucking depths of depression in Kerry.
Christ, man.
Oh fuck!
Actually, yeah, you did go through a fucking rough time through when you were like stuck, because you were basically just like in a shed on your own for months writing tunes.
Yeah, in Kerry, yeah, which is nice in a sense, but not in like the middle of fucking winter. When you've
in a global lockdown.
Yeah, when you got no fucking gigs and you're stuck at home. My parents are nice though. That's one bonus. But yeah, no, I had a fucking tough time in general. I think through the whole production of the CP. Like, I overarching themes of like just fucking the struggle be real, you know? Like, I went to Edinburgh and had a great time ultimately, but like had struggles there as well. Like,
Yeah.
moving to any city when you're like literally can't go out and physically meet people. So I felt very isolated at times throughout the production of this thing. And, Barry producing it doesn't help. No, I think I changed the melody actually in that bridge. I remember it being way higher
Do you remember why you changed that?
because I couldn't sing it. E flat as well is a weird key.
It is.
It's not a weird key.
See,
it's just
you fucking
unusual.
diss me and you forget who actually helped make the melody of that bridge.
Let's go.
Fucking me,
School.
you prick.
School me and the people.
Yeah. Oh my god.
What was the process there now, please?
Well, we were like once again like in my flat, and you were going, and the melody was kind of different, and it was weird, and you weren't really like sure where you were landing.
Oh yeah.
And then I made you change the phrasing of it, because
Just do it straight.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it wasn't even that the notes massive, like some of the melody changed, but it wasn't dramatically. And I was like, if you land your notes like a little bit later, because you were kind of like trying to like pop it, like really kind of, you were like attacking it.
And I was doing a big riff. And I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah. You were kind of
or
just,
whatever.
you were like overcomplicating it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like you have the full potential to do any kind of vocal riffs, like, and all that, but I was just like, this isn't the time for it in this song.
No, because the lyric is feeling strange, and I was like, feeling strange, or whatever. And I was like, okay, that's a bit much in it. The other thing was, during lockdown, my voice was unbelievable because I was not gigging.
Yeah.
So my voice was just like full strength every day.
Yeah.
And I was doing my little... Actually, to be fair, I did some nice little
Oh, that's funny.
live sessions and stuff. But yeah.
I do remember that, because I remember when we did the main vocal sessions for this, because it was like when you weren't really gigging as much, it was a breeze, because you just like your voice was full every time you came in.
Healthy.
And then we went back to gigging and everything, and you got sick. So
Yeah.
when you did the backing vocals for some of the tracks, your voice was like messed up.
Why was it so imperative that I had to get them done that week? I wasn't,
don't
by the way,
know.
in case you think I'm terminally ill, I was just sick that week.
Like, yeah, there was one week,
And then you
I
got
was like,
sick, and I'm like, oh, shit.
and I was like, do you have to record them this week? And for some reason, you were like, yeah, I have to get them done this week.
I really can't remember why. Oh, because we were planning on putting it out earlier than we did, maybe.
Probably.
Or I went on holiday, or I went on tour.
Oh, I think
Was it?
It was because you were going on tour
Was it the Billerwood thing? No, I think it was before that.
before that, but there was something else you were doing.
Shit, I can't remember. I feel like that was the summer of 22, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But there was
Mad.
some reason why you were fucking pushing for getting your backing vocals done, and that was fun for me.
Sorry about that. Oh yeah, and then I just redid them. Eventually, we're like, let's just. Why are we putting ourselves under pressure? Moving on. Let's go. Lovely wee soundscape here again.
I'll be there for you.
Nice PVs too.
Let me see what life has in store.
Good vocal.
Break it down and
Excellent guitar.
open the door.
Oh
I don't
fuck.
think you can see what's inside. So make
Fuck. Yeah, we actually, what I particularly enjoy in this is the blend of acoustic guitars, because this is the only track I feel that you actually play acoustic guitar on. Like, I played my parts on acoustic guitar, which were all recorded in the one room at the one time, so that my guitars sound particularly lush in this EP. But I remember you layered your acoustics over this part as well, and there's just some very nice little raindrop effect.
Range, I like that. Yeah, that's,
Bing bong boom.
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Harmonically, it's very pleasing.
it is. And it came from a mixture. That part came out of when we were arranging the tracks for the tour.
Oh yeah.
Because, well, I kind of had the parts, but it kind of influenced when I went back to do a few extra bits.
Yeah.
What we did there, but Yeah, I just kind of like was playing around with like intervals of sixths and stuff around what you were doing, and it just kind of worked quite nicely. Sixths and thirds, and all that. But
It's quite lush. It's quite
it's
lush.
nice. It is nice, and I do kind of like the vulnerability of it, and kind of it's quite. It's funny because there's a lot of layers going on, but it doesn't sound that way.
No. Yeah, actually, it does. It's very direct, like, because they're so uniform.
That's what I like about Make in general, because it's very more. It's just like a band.
This one was actually, I find, potentially the most difficult thing to put together on the EP.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, on the vibe, actually, more than anything, because, like, I guess it was written with the intention of what it kind of ended up being, but like it took a while for us to find out what that actually was. Like it's very much like a groove tune and a lot of space, like like almost like a John Mayer kind of thing, like where it's like a pocket groove for the drums and bass, but like
oh man, his
gives them
groove
loads of
Eduardo's groove on this track is fucking
very, very good.
great.
Yeah, there's some savage stuff in it, and there was loads of stuff in the demo as well that were like drawing it together and making it cool. Like your guitars were class. There were some really nice like delay lines and stuff.
Oh, the boom,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then like the bits in the choruses and shit, like it was all dragging it in the right direction. But it was just like I remember distinctly being outside of my house in Bonnyrig that I was staying in.
Yeah.
With the Sheridans, shout out. Listening to like, I guess it was like after Eduardo had done the drums, and we were like, this just added it into the demo to be like, where is it at now? And being like, fuck, like there's a bit of work to do here. And you were like, no, it's actually going to be grand. And I was like, okay, I trust you. I believe you. Trust. Yeah. I'm on my own again.
Trust. Sorry, I was trying to remember what I had, because when you were talking about the guitar part to the chorus, I was like, what the fuck was I listening to again?
There was the 1975 reference again,
but it was actually this time I wasn't trying to just coax you into something. No, I
wasn't like just lying.
I was listening to that, like A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships, like a ton, because there's like all these cool little like guitar layers and stuff going on, and that kind of influenced how I made my parts for that chorus.
They're all very rhythmic and on borderline percussive,
Yeah.
Shall we go for the second? Yeah. Second chorus. Fantastic wee drop in there now. That's fatter than fuck. I don't know what you're hiding behind. Snare. I can see Ghost. It's Halloween, spooky. Ghost, no. Take what's yours, leave me. For any of you common as muck music amateurs, where I was talking about ghost notes on a snare there, all right? Behind, 'cause I can't seem to make you know. I'm a genius, get over. Oh, that was lovely as well.
Oh man.
Imagine Eduardo leaning over, trying to look cool as fuck, right, on his little fucking floor tom here now.
Yeah.
Stank face.
He does look really cool when he plays
He
drums.
does look really cool, yeah.
Just so comfortable.
Yeah, he's just thinking like, I am Ronaldo.
If you need me, I won't come running. You tried to deceive
He's the Ronaldo of
me too many
drums.
times. I know the truth. It's written
And lots of other
on
things,
you.
actually. He's fucking
Don't
genius.
cover
Fair
it
play
up.
to you. Why am I taking the angle of taking the piss out of Eduardo the whole
don't
time?
know.
He's so
fucking
nice.
unbelievable. And he's such a lovely
such a
person.
good bloke.
Don't let it show.
I think, we had a good dynamic when we were recording, because he does a great Conor McGregor impression.
He does, and he just absolutely rips the shit out of anyone, so it's good fun.
Yeah, he's fucking gas. Guitar sounding lush.
That piano is. Oh yeah, that was. Yeah. I forgot about that. That was so last minute. That was when when we got the upright into the studio.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And we I don't even think we had got it tuned yet. Like it was nice though. It was such a touch. I also love that bridge guitar line. That's fucking so satisfying, man.
I remember hearing that isolated, being like, no. And then you played it, and I was like, all right, grand, that is pretty cool. Do you know what? I know it's kind of simple enough, but I love that bridge a lot.
It's great. It's very nice. I do remember you saying that about the guitar line. Like many things, when I've pitched ideas to you, you're like, and I was like, give me a minute to put it in context, and then you're like, actually, yeah, right, grand.
Grand. There's a lot of that. I also wonder about the other guests of this. I mean, it's 3:15. I don't think anyone's going to be napping in Dingle, are they? So we're fine. Oh, nice. Yeah, I remember that. Barry also is king of a vocal session, lads. I just say, like, it's just a pleasure. And, like, I think we're relatively efficient, but it does take a long ass time because we break everything up.
But it's important to do, you know, and
yeah, we always get a good performance.
It does depend on the song. Like, you know, with vocal sessions, sometimes you'll want someone to kind of try and take particular sections how they can, and then some people like getting into the whole thing of you know, like going word by word, syllable by syllable, not quite into syllable by syllable. I think that's maybe a bit much.
Yeah.
And maybe
unless you're
although
Dua
it's
Lipa
great.
or some.
I'm no, well, yeah, and I
My
get
friend.
It. Yeah, your friend.
My mate Dua Lipa.
And I get that, and I've done that before, and I understand, like, for particular songs, it's a process that sometimes you need to go through. But for the kind of style we're doing, I like that authenticity of, like, you know, it's kind of more of a line by line thing.
Yeah.
Like, you got that line and the kind of like joins in it really well. But yeah, I love a vocal session. I love getting into like phonetics and all that stuff. And yeah, that leave me behind Gliss thing. Yeah. People always
like,
get scared when I'm like, you need to gliss that more. They're like, oh, what? And I'm just like, just trust me on this.
No, but like in context, it sounds good. But yeah, out of sorts, I sound like fucking Frankie Valli or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like some fucking 60s dreamboat pop star.
But it's the reason
Maybe
why
not.
these things were popular. It just works.
True.
And it's nice to kind of reference back to that. But you nailed it, and that was a cool moment. But yeah, I do love a good vocal set. I love recording vocals with you. It's good fun.
Stop it.
You take notes very well.
Sure, look.
You do.
This is me, like. My favourite part of this song is the last 15 seconds. Oh, actually, no, I'll go back for that little electric. It's nice.
No, I can't seem to
Sean Mayer.
make you know.
Tasty little doodle-dee.
Gotta get your minor nines in there, boy.
Lovely.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Just a tiny
I
little.
swear I didn't actually fucking work on
Yeah,
this.
doubled up on the upright again.
The upright again, yeah.
Thank fuck you've got that thing.
Yeah, it's fucking handy. Yeah, so we're on to the big fucking one that everyone was waiting for you to finally do.
My hits.
I've wanted to produce since we started working together like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to produce this track. It's like, because I just love it, and I'd always listen to it on SoundCloud and stuff. I like it. Just
It had a bit of lore about it, you know, like
It does have some
no,
lore.
actually, to be fair, like people were like always like, that's a great tune, like what are you gonna do with it?
yeah.
And like bring it back, and I was just like, well, I don't know, like that's from years and years ago, like will I bother doing anything with it? And then I was just like, no, it actually is a good song, and like there's nothing wrong with like plowing it back up because nobody was listening back then anyway. No, like a few people were, and the people who were listening were like, no, that's great, like I want to hear it.
Yeah.
So
I
you
was,
can't deny people of it either, I guess.
Well, there was a bit of that, and also because I did love the track, and because there was a bit of lore behind it and things. I was actually a little bit nervous when I took this on because I had pushed for it so hard, and I didn't want to fuck it up. I wanted
Sure.
to like help, you know, really
Deliver
deliver it and stuff.
An important.
And because you had like, you know, that SoundCloud version, and you had the lovely Ian Gubbins drumming and everything, and there was all
Yeah.
the kind of, there was some really good strong core foundation to like start with, you know, with the kind of rhythmic ideas there. Because like obviously it's like a very triplet heavy song.
Well, that was it. Like exactly. Because I wrote it probably after I did the first cruise ship contract. I bought a fucking good MacBook and an interface and a nice mic. I had like a bit of money for the first time, and I was like, I'm gonna be a fucking producer, like a bedroom producer, and I started like recording some sort of an EP, like, and there was, but like the total different sound. Like I was literally calling myself like, I was saying like my genre was ambient grunge funk, which is just like a complete piss take. Like that's not what I was even doing.
Ambient grunge.
Ambient grunge funk. I was just like, I was just actually get annoyed when people ask me what kind of music you do. And this was before I was just like singer songwriter, you know, stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, it's ambient grunge funk, and they're like, what's that? I'm like, well, fucking listen to it. Why am I so aggressive? Sorry.
You are.
There's
You're
no
so
need. There's no need. I just, yeah, it's like whatever.
Because you're in gig mode.
Maybe, yeah, I'm like, got me fucking fists up, ready to go.
Just like quick side story. So like when we started going to the do gigs in the UK a bit more, the crowds are
Scottish crowds.
are like different, you know, like if they ask for something, they will fucking want it now, and if you don't do it, they call you a cunt immediately. And the only way you can deal with that is by just
calling them a cunt
back. And obviously, like, we kind of get away with it with the Irish patter and the Scottish patter, and it's all like there's no actual animosity to it. It's just
No, there is.
there's just the abuse does go in, like. So we got fairly into like hefty abuse back and forth with the crowd because we just didn't give a shit. And we went to do a gig in JJ Walsh's in Cork
last Christmas.
Christmas, and we were like reckless because people were being pricks to us. And Ian was behind us, and he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?
What's up with you guys? Like, why are you being absolute cunts to the fucking crowd?"
It
Like,
was so funny. Like he was like a parental figure, just being like, "Cop the fuck on." Like,
stop. Like, yeah,
love you, Ian.
yeah. But that's maybe the mode that I'm going into right now. And I can't tell for why, but I guess, you know, it's your art. You gotta defend it, you know, or maybe you don't. I don't know. Anyway, cool soundscape here for the intro in Jurassic as well. I liked. We threw in some like playground noises and stuff.
It was like
That was a great wee shout. That was like a little splice thing as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, we talked about the soundscape a bit before we did it, because I was like, what's the environment you hear? Because there was going to be a soundscape, so I was trying to scope you out as like, where's the song take you? Like if you were to be listening to it, where you'd be sitting, what would you be hearing around you, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like a park city kind of vibe,
Yeah.
like because I think it was probably Edinburgh influenced that a little bit and things at the time.
Yeah, for sure. And it was supposed to be about like, say, memories from like being a kid or being a teenager or whatever as well. That's like why I put the cherubs in the fucking artwork as well, because it's sort of like a death of innocence in a sense, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Innocence in a sense, you know. Nice.
But yeah, so we I kind of I found that sample. Can't remember where I got that sample from again, because I've got like the thing is because I have made my own sound libraries, and then I use like things like Splice and stuff a lot. I just like, you know, it's just what works in the moment.
Sure,
you know?
sure.
But
I remember like you threw it in, I was like, yeah, that's great, because it's otherwise it's like tiny side fact as well. Like when I wrote Jurassic first, I wrote on an electric, and I think it was in drop D.
Yeah.
So it was like very much like a much lower sounding riff, you know. But I guess like people like now kind of, I think it has its own sort of stamp audio wise, you know, like the actual intro in the current version of Jurassic. Like where Meg the Last was like, oh, I thought I heard Jurassic, but it was just like a similar kind of thing. But it's like very much in a specific register, because it's in Dadgad now and it's capoed way up higher.
Yeah.
But I guess we were like, yeah, although it's gonna wear people out if you're not like, say, you add some layers at the start. So it's not just like the dominant force the whole way through is the guitar, you know. Obviously the guitar is going the whole way through, but it's like it's just the train and there's other shit either side of it, like, you know.
You just keep
the
adding
whole time.
It's like an old steam. You keep adding the coal in and just keep it going
and
chugging away.
Keep chugging, boy. Keep chugging. There was a fair ball of contention over this snare sample as well, wasn't there? But I think we landed on the right thing in the end. In fairness, you're good for adding layers to a sample and making your own thing, which I'll enjoy.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think that's where I don't know how to say it without sounding like a dick. I think it's where some people fall short sometimes. Is that they'll like, oh man, there's a few things. So one is that they'll go, that is part of the sample kit I'm using, so that's the sound, and you're like,
they don't all try and alter it, even though it's totally malleable. Like,
yeah,
if you have the knowledge.
But then the other mistake is if they want the different sound, they think the only way of changing it is by fucking changing the sound of that snare.
Yes.
Well, I think sometimes, obviously not everyone, but sometimes like when you're kind of getting into it, and then like we were all fucking, I was guilty for this at the start as well, as you forget, oh, I can actually, that sound, that snare sound is one texture.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I can add other layers and then make that part of an overall texture, but then that allows me to like change the balance of how much I want that to cut through.
Yeah.
And that's what I'll do a lot of times with a lot of things, but like snares especially. Like there's a lot of tracks where you'll hear like a fucking massive snare, and it's not just a snare, it's like a snare, an explosion sample, a fucking shotgun sample.
The shotgun was hilarious.
But like you blend it,
yeah,
so that it all sounds like a full kind of cohesive thing, and then you'll do certain things with gates and side chaining, and it just all comes through as like an overall, just big sound. So yeah, like that's the thing. Like because the like I kept the demo sound from the E-kit that we used for that, which you weren't mad about, but then I did quite like it, but I blended some other stuff in, and then you kind of came around to it.
It was like the tail end of a shotgun, wasn't it? It wasn't like the exact explosion or something.
No, I was like the tail end, and then it was like reversed and bounced through reverb or something. I can't remember what I did.
Yeah.
Something like that. If you want more details and you want us to keep doing this, then I can go back into the sessions and find the exact thing I did. But
it might be. I was thinking it might be cool to do that, like we used to do with Saturday Production Facts. We'd like get samples and dissect them. But anyway, it's very interesting nonetheless. Even just a description of it is interesting.
Yeah.
So we go from E-kit straight into actual drums by Eduardo.
That's
Moreira
why I wanted
again.
the E-kit, because I wanted that kind of transfer, and Eduardo fucking nailed it.
And if anything, it's like, you're going further back into time because, it's the initial kit is sort of an
I do love the
electronic
point where he
instrument.
hits toms and you have the kind of hi-hat. This is like a tick, tick, and it kind of goes into it.
Yeah, it was like a little fucking
It's like
countdown
it's just
thing.
passing the torch over.
Yeah. That was cool, actually. Yes, let's get it.
Yeah.
And then we're in. By the way, great bass playing on this one by
Thank you.
BOC, Production and Sound.
Did I play bass on all the tracks in this? I
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I wasn't arsed hiring a new bass player. Even though Dara Toomey is
He's in line for a track
he's
soon.
in line for a track.
We have a track that we're going to be recording at some stage, and I think we're going to get Dara on it.
I suppose we better get on that, Jeff. Yeah. New singles coming. We do have a new single coming, which will be announced very soon, but you can expect something by the end of November. And there's a collaborator. I'm saying no more. You're not getting a single more word out of me. What else have we got in this? Loads of stuff, to be fair.
Oh, get that.
Papatu. I liked that.
Yeah, there's a lot of like little like flippant lines going on through it where I'm just like, but I wanted to like just buy into that like. I just did a bad fucking representation of that, but
But without it being fucking kind of boring either, like that's the thing,
so just
'cause
like
the
little
triplet thing could have got
blemishes.
yes, exactly.
So this is like quite fun.
Comes back here again. Nice keys here.
From the walls of our hollowed cave, Jurassic specifically before we fell out. I forgot your name. Displayed in the halls were works we saved from the walls of our hollowed cave.
When did that outro? That was kind of late in the game as well. When we cut out the last beat.
That was very close to when we were finished as well. And I kind of had a small brainwave, and because I was going over the final edits.
Yeah.
And I was just checking everything was clean and ready to go to Eduardo, and I think I remember calling you, and I was like, "Can you listen to this for me before I send this? Because I think this is a better ending."
Yeah, and I was like, "That's fucking sick."
Because it was just like, yeah, because I'd taken your backing vocals and just put them through a load of mad processing to kind of make them sound like, you know, synthy.
Yeah.
But while still knowing their voices. But just that ba-na-na-na-na-na. Maybe you could figure it out fairly easily, or maybe you didn't. That's not how we played it.
Yeah.
I cut out the
chopped off the last
chords and hit and everything, and just got the fades right, so it just goes da 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 da, and then the voices take over.
Yeah.
And it was just
Cave.
cool. And it's big, and even live now, it's quite big when we do that,
class.
you know.
And people are like, "Fuck," you know what I mean? Moving on. Thank you.
Oh, there's a lot of cool stuff in this track.
There's loads of cool stuff in this.
Yeah, I've enjoyed producing this one.
This is Sleeping on My Dreams on Colin Andrew FM.
I don't know how to be alone.
Just an isolated man.
With someone.
Sad.
Overthinking every step.
You sending me this and me being like, "You okay?"
Honestly, should I call medicine people?
Are you alright?
Nothing's changed. I keep on trying.
I did love that wee moment we had when we were supporting the Burma, where you started playing this and like your like low D was out of tune, so it's just like fucking behind you, just.
You were the hero that day, alright? Yeah, because I thought we were starting the wrong fucking song. That was funny, to be fair.
It was fun.
You can catch that. You can catch that on my story 2 weeks ago for 24 hours, and other than that, you'll never see it ever again. Bye. Good old. Yes, sir. You're right. I don't need to record my silent mouth.
Thought you knew everything.
What?
Back to you in the end.
That was cool. That's a cool bit.
The delays and bits. There's loads of cool
It's
shit.
not even a delay. I edited that in. I took
Oh, nice.
because I wanted to like do like something quite specific with how it fell off.
Mm-hmm.
And with delays, yeah, obviously you can do that with like the kind of readjusting the feedback and all that stuff and the like level of the mix of it. But I was just like, it was just quicker for me to do because I didn't want it actually to have any delay. I wanted it to be quite dry.
Yeah.
With
Just
the
a
way it
chop.
was, so I just did a chop and I got and I put them on the grid and just went and then like went into the clip because I was editing it in Pro Tools and just kind of reduced the gain of the clip gain or whatever you want to call it, and just went dip.
Class. Nice. That's fucking sick. It was class, to be fair. What were the claps sampled in the intro?
Play them back to me then. No, we recorded those.
Nice. Those are our fucking.
Taking everyone to
I think actually, it's a mixture of samples and
Nothing's
claps.
changed. I keep on trying. You stay the same. I'm a different.
And a good bit of like pop vocal editing. We were quite specific about that.
Yeah,
Like
there's-
things, phrases that barely end before another one comes on. or
Yeah,
whatever.
it was like just that kind of blend over each other. Yeah.
And I thought you nailed that. We all nailed that. Eduardo included, was like sailing into the pre-chorus nicely, you know, like where it's just like just a good little lift, and it sort of feels like a comforting plateau, you know.
Comes back to you in the end. I'm left without a friend, and I really can't recall.
Nice little moment here before the chorus.
But I really didn't know you at all.
That was solid. Do you remember I cried in your house when I heard the like?
Feel there's something
I can't even remember what version of it was. I think it was. I don't even know when that was.
was cute though.
It was nice. Yeah.
You got kind of
So it
like
was like, this is
overwhelmed.
class. Yeah. This is like the whole thing coming together now. I was like, fuck. Finally, Barry has pulled his finger out of his anus.
One of my favorite moments.
One of the best. Great guitar.
I'm pretty sure
Unbelievable. That's some serious fucking sound design.
I'm fucking
production there,
so happy with that, man. Because
So
we
why? I think I can't remember the actual like fucking inception of it. Like, were you trying out random samples to fill the space?
So yeah, when we were back in the kind of early pre-production, there was like, we knew there was something had to happen there. So I basically like bookmarked it with a can opening sound I got like from Splice.
Yeah.
And was like, I'm just gonna leave that there. Something's gotta happen there.
Yeah.
But don't know what yet, but something. So I'm just gonna like that leaves that kind of, because I knew it would like that air would leave us open into getting a swell or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, it didn't necessarily have to be a can, but I was like, it's kind of a cool sound. And then we kind of came back to it, and you know when you've been listening to demos like so much, you're just like, that's just the sound that needs to be
Yeah,
there.
it's like, that's actually cool as fuck.
Kind of just like incubated for a while and became what we thought should be there.
Yeah.
And then I came back to it and I was like, oh, I don't want to get rid of that. I'm gonna try and make like a moment out of this and see if it works, and if it doesn't, fine. So then recorded some breaths, and then reversed some of them and didn't reverse other ones, and
like a
and then got kind of like a Wurlitzer and like fucking cranked the modulation on it so that it was like really wobbly.
That's cool as fuck.
And then fucking reversed that as well. Yeah, and just created this whole swell, and I was like, that's cool as fuck.
Yeah, that's dope.
But also, I don't know what was in my head when I was making it, because obviously the song has like a lot going on in it, like, I mean, emotionally.
Lyrically.
Yeah.
Yeah, like people think it's because it's like a little Easter egg of me quitting the booze.
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows, man? Who knows what makes these things?
Well, yeah, there was a bit of that as well,
things.
because there was like conversations of like, because you were earlier on in sobriety, you'd been sober for maybe a year and a half to like at that stage.
Sure, it was like probably a lot more present in the process.
And I know that you're going through stuff, and I think that was just kind of like a bit of an Easter egg from my end of just like, it's almost like you're like, oh, this is going through the shit, and that was like a point of a relief before, but not anymore, and kind of thing.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Because just from conversations we were having at the time, and I was like, that moment seems like relevant, but I was like, I think I talked to you about it again. Then I was like, do you want to leave it in, or do you want to change the kind of sound of it? And
oh yeah, because people, I guess
they might get too caught up in it, but I was
like read into it or something. No, but really it essentially is just like, that sounds cool as fuck, so let's leave it in.
And we thought, like, there'd be people that know you that might read into it too much, but then also like for the general people who are getting into it, it's just like,
it's just a sound, like, yeah.
And like that is the main reason I was just like, this transition just sounds very cool.
Yeah, it's just a fucking nice, tidy transition, and puts it all like in a little bow and sets the vibe for the next chorus. Which is like a bit of a jump anyway in terms of dynamic. Like,
I did try and record the can
live
sound myself live,
like,
but
how many cans of coke are you gonna fucking desecrate?
Well, no, like it was like they were good like captures as well, but like, as I said before, like, just because I've been listening
as well, wasn't it?
It was the timing, and it's just because I had listened to that one so many times, and that was the inception of the rest of the idea. Because people are like often ask me, "Oh, did you record the can sound?" And I'm like, "Why are you so obsessed with me recording the can sound?" But yeah, okay, official statement, people. It is a sample. Yeah. I didn't record the can sound. I recorded everything else around it, just not the can sound.
But people like when it's not. People like when you made your own samples. I think because also you do make your own.
I do make a lot of my own samples, yeah.
So people are like, oh, that's cool. A little bit of Foley in there. Foley for the Foley.
Foley for the Foley.
But yeah.
It's a cool moment.
Slap bass there as well. Fucking
You
Sly
did
and
not
Family
want me
Stone
to
over
do
here.
that at all.
Because I was like, hey, I'm actually gonna write a song there about like being depressed because I haven't achieved any of my dreams. He's like, oh, that's really cool, man. Yeah, I'm just gonna fucking put some Flea over this, man, if you don't mind. Yeah.
It was tasteful.
It was tasteful. It actually was, to be fair. Well, to be fair, it was because like everything else was like very much like pocket bass. It was lovely, yeah. Because the track kind of actually grooves more than you would expect for this kind of thing, but that's because the like, I guess that was the origin of it anyway. Was for the like the I'm doing a lot of the slap on the acoustic, you know. Like that fucking boom, 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 boom. Like that thing, like you actually just funkified it enough, you know? Like
but it was like literally,
like
it was just the top
tasteful.
of like the phrase, and that was it.
But it was required, I think, to like excite it a bit because we were like wondering anyway what we were going to do with the bass because it was sort of like not that it was the bass end was covered by that line on the acoustic, but that was like the fucking like, you know, smallest version of it, the minimalist version. That sort of side was kind of covered, I guess, out of necessity for just it being me and acoustic guitar. So it's like when you make a full band arrangement, like how much do you take out of that minimal information that you have, and what do you do? Like how big do you go with that information afterwards? Like what direction do you go? If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I think we found the right
Balance.
balance is right.
Yeah.
I do recall. I was gonna say I really can't recall. It was a joke, but I do recall. Nice, you're solid there on the old gates there, lad. Barry's literally flat out on the tablet. I do recall, like, when you kind of cracked this song open in terms of a structure of, I'm pretty sure we were like, just, I can't even remember if I had another verse or I actually think I had another section written.
Yeah.
And you were like, just finish that chorus.
And then flip back around
go
to the...
back around to the pre, and that was it. Actually, I think it was to do with like, it was like, where's the actual end to this song?
Yeah.
And it was like, just finish on that. Everything comes back to you in the end.
It was
Great,
almost like
done,
before that. It was kind of like it was almost like getting dizzy because you're like you could keep going around. You're like, where do we get out? And then I was just like, right, here's what we're gonna do: do that chorus, then spin back to that pre, and then get yourself into like an outro chorus, and then just flat out towards the end.
Yeah, that was quite clever there. Now with the getting dizzy, like,
yeah,
nice. Jeez, you're a fucking lyricist over here. Let's see where that comes back around. So yeah, this is like the end of that chorus. And we're like, where do you go from there? Keep her lit.
Sleeping on my dreams. Everything is different.
Great guitar line as well.
I keep on trying. You stay the same. I'm a different person. You thought you knew. Everything comes back to you in the end.
No need for that fill there in the end, Eduardo. Like, cop the fuck on. I'm not joking. It's unreal. What the fuck is that? Like, that's
Beautiful.
so fucking great.
Yeah. Well, he did, to be fair, right? Because he did like Eduardo's great. I love the way he records drums because he'll do like a take or two of just solid.
This is what you asked for, I guess. Yeah.
And then he'll do like a take or two of just like kind of more kind of open and kind of like just trying out fills and things. And it's great. It's a great way to have because then you can just kind of cut in and comp what you like want out of that. And I was like, that fill is staying. Like,
yeah, I was
great.
a fucking machine that day. It was actually outrageous.
Oh yeah, that just as well. He
All the
recorded all the drums in one day
for 5 tracks.
and that wasn't. And when we say a day, it wasn't even like
No, it was like a fucking.
It was like a
morning to an afternoon. Like,
yeah, it was like a 4 or 5 hour session. He just
that's
laced
all.
it out.
Yeah, it was like a literally like, and I think including setup, I think we had about 5 hours, maybe 6, but no more than that.
No, he fucking smashed it.
It was actually insane, and but he knew like what he was doing anyway. He'd done his homework, and he'd like ideas of what he was coming. He came in with his own ideas as well, so like unbelievable and just class because Eduardo's mixed and mastered all. Apart from Loving You in Vain Acoustic, give some credit there, Barry. But he's mixed and mastered everything up until this point, from Too Far From Kind all the way up to
The EP.
Nothing Sweeter and to the EP in itself, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was unreal to have him in from the start as well, actually, like at that foundational level. Obviously, we'd done the demos, but just to have him like in that process, and then he was able to, like you said earlier, was able to add in some musical ideas as well.
Yeah.
Not just drums. He'd like throw in other bits and give advice and what have you. But
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about him. Is I don't think people like realize the extent of his musicality sometimes. But they have to if they work with him actually, because you just meet like he's just oozes it. Big shout out if you haven't listened yet. He has took him a while to put it on Spotify, but he has an album on Spotify called Plural Volume 2. It's incredible. He collaborates with like a load of amazing musicians from Ireland and France and Portugal and other places, and it's just unbelievable. It's such a great album. So I highly recommend you going and checking out his album because it's beautiful.
fucking dead right.
Yeah.
That concludes this and only episode of just a nice little breakdown of the Colin Andrew EP. Enough about Eduardo. Get it back to me, right?
Yeah. Well, once again, but also this EP is also wonderful. And yeah, definitely just go listen to it. It's that's because like we're hearing it all through a 58, whereas like
off a laptop.
Off a fucking MacBook microphone.
Go listen to it in high fidelity on Spotify or wherever you get your music from. All right.
And we might do this again. We're trying to figure it out, but
do some more in-depth stuff, perhaps. Yeah.
In-depth stuff, or even like look at some other stuff that we like that we listen to and breaking it down. But yeah,
Yes, we did talk about that. That
yeah,
could be very
we'll see
cool.
what happens. We'll see what you're interested.
Let's gauge the interest on that. Would you like to hear us talk more on music in general, like other people's music? We'll do some sort of, Barry recommends an album, I go and listen to it and we say what we like about it and we talk about production things and songwriting things and whatever else have you.
Well, that's the thing. We'll come in and you can focus on the songwriting, you can focus on the producing and just kind of pick out bits that we love about it. And
there you go. But for now, thanks very much. Hope you had a great time. It's been Colin and Barry lying on a bed in Dingle. On the other side of this wall is St. James's Church. I'm going to manifest right now. We're going to play Other Voices next year. All right?
we'll see you then.
See you then. Cheers. Bye-bye.